There's a time and a place when you really need to leave an avoidant man.
Yeah.
In this video, we'll talk about 3 big signs.
3 big signs that it's absolutely time to give up on an avoidant man. And we are not people to typically say you should give up on anyone, but when it comes to a truly avoidantly attached man who demonstrates these 3 signs, you are only going to be trapping yourself into more toxicity and a life of misery. Total misery.
My name is David.
I'm Renee.
Okay, let's talk about this because there are a lot of people out there with avoidant men.
Yeah.
Whether that is men who are avoiding them right now or men who are truly avoidantly attached, they're 2 separate things. Let's talk about what these 3 signs are so that maybe women out there can actually look at these 3 signs and go, okay, it's time to go. Maybe it gives them a bit more confidence in making that decision as well.
Yeah, because when it comes to men who are just avoiding you, but they're secure men can exhibit avoidant behavior because you're extracting too much value or because they just can't give you what you need, you know. They can exhibit avoidant behavior, but that's very different to an avoidantly attached man. And that's why these 3 signs are so crucial. Make sure you listen to all of them and really let them sink deeply into your soul and your awareness. Conscious awareness, bodily awareness, it needs to be there because if a man's truly avoidantly attached,
then nothing good comes out of that.
Yeah.
Nothing good comes from someone who's truly avoidantly attached.
Yeah.
Whereas if they're secure and they have avoidant tendencies, it's okay. It's salvageable.
Yeah.
True avoidant, it's no-go.
Yeah.
And some people go as far as to say that truly avoidant individuals cannot love you, cannot love anything.
You know what? I've never seen anyone else say that other than us. I think there is this message out there that avoidant men can become secure and avoidant men can love you, and that's absolute BS. Let me explain why. Before you get overly shocked and just think I'm full of it, let me explain exactly why. Avoidant attachment is a defense mechanism for not having received enough resources in the form of nurturing and hyper-responsiveness from your caretakers before you even turn 2 or 3. Okay, your parents or anyone's parents or caretakers have a small window in order to basically give up their entire life for you, for the baby, be hyper responsive to nurture you, to feed you, to over time give you this feeling that like, I'm safe. This world is okay. I can rely on other people. And because I can rely on other people, I can rely on myself too. I'm okay to go out and explore. I'm okay to go out and try to solve my own problems and make mistakes along the way. If you had, let's just talk about avoidance right now, not anxious, okay? Avoidant attachment is formed when someone doesn't only not give you reliable nurturing, but gives you virtually no nurturing.
Yeah.
So what happens then is that you're looking at a grown human now who was a baby once screaming their face off until they turned blue and possibly vomiting.
That has to be done repeatedly as well.
Yeah.
You just do it once, it's okay. You don't just go straight to avoid it.
Yeah.
You actually have to do that repeatedly, day
Yeah.
after day, week after week, for them to actually get that far down the spectrum to avoid it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just go, you stay in like anxious, which is still okay. But truly avoidant, they're like, they've given up all hope.
Yeah.
No human being is ever going to be here for me. I'm here on my own, and that's the best I'm ever going to have.
Yeah.
And that I'm going to have to make do with that.
Yeah. And not to mention all the added trauma or abuse you may have experienced after that, because if a lot of parents who don't have the resources to offer maternal or paternal resources to their child, they are people who have very little resources within themselves to function in life,
Yeah.
to have relationships, to connect with anyone. And so it's a real issue. It's very hard to now, as this person is an adult, to go back in time and replace what they had.
Yeah.
Good luck to you if you want to. I've written articles on how you can maybe try to do that. I've got an article on the 11 genius ways you can communicate to an avoidant partner. If you want to carry that burden on your shoulders, just know that you'll be carrying the responsibility of the people who should have been their parents. So yeah, we were getting to the point that avoidantly attached people cannot become secure, you know?
Yeah. It's
I mean, there's a tiny possibility if that person is forced repeatedly into anxiousness, and then someone is there to support them constantly to process. And then you have to consider that person supporting them has to be able to shoulder that toxicity, the constant pushing away, the constant criticizing you because they don't trust you and they don't actually care about you and see you positively.
And they don't actually want to change.
No.
Because they're too far gone.
It's a defense mechanism against not receiving enough nurturing.
Yeah, think of it as
Or any nurturing.
massive trauma to your neurology and your psychology. And that massive trauma, it gets covered up because they kind of look normal on the surface.
Absolutely, they do, yeah.
And they also learn masking strategies
Yeah.
to look normal.
Yeah.
So, but underneath, there's this big rotten portion of their psyche, of their neurology that you don't often get to see.
Yeah.
That's what you have to take seriously.
Yeah.
So if they're truly avoidantly attached, you know, I'd say there's very little hope for any real relationship to carry on.
Yeah.
Because that relational component of their neurology, it's destroyed.
Yeah.
They've lost all hope
Yeah.
in anyone.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about sign number one.
Mm-hmm.
Sign number one that it's time to give up on an avoidant man is he has no warmth towards you. I mean, this comes with the territory of being avoidantly attached. They have no warmth. Here's the distinction. You might feel that they care. You might on occasion think, oh, this person cares about me.
They may do the right things.
They may do the right
They
things.
may bring you flowers, chocolates. They may say the right things. But a sense of warmth goes far beyond chocolates and flowers and the gestures and the actions and the words. It's a sense of they have affection. They have
Yeah.
a soul to connect with your soul.
Yeah.
That is missing. And
Yeah.
when that is missing, it's kind of scary. And you don't want to get sucked into
Love bombing.
and their insincere gestures. I was watching this crime documentary a couple of days ago, and this man who was about 41 years old, had a wife, had a daughter, and the wife was going on about how loving he is, and he just gave her some extra money to help her with her hobbies. And the very next day, he killed both the daughter and the wife, burnt the house down, went to live in a hut in the woods.
Is that his idea of happily ever after or something? Like
This is how avoidants operate. They do the right things for you,
yeah.
but maybe that sense of soul is gone. And so if you're a woman who just looks at the surface actions, behaviors, you may get sucked in.
And we are not quick to diagnose anyone with avoidant
No,
attachment because we realize that takes a lot of time, a lot of testing, a lot of
We don't throw those words around.
No.
And like my mother, she's, we know now she's avoidant. I've lived with her for how many years?
Yep.
Right?
And so have I. Oh.
And I knew that I always felt a sense of coldness, but I didn't really know. Maybe that was normal.
Yeah.
Because when you grow up, you don't have anything to compare it to.
Yeah, any positive reference points. It's not like you can go and live off with your neighbor
exactly.
who has a wonderful parent.
Parent swap, and then you go, oh, well, your parents are like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So we developed this sense of toxic normalcy, some people call it. And we don't realize that, that they're actually really avoidant. And sometimes they make you wrong for it. So that sense of warmth, I think, is really critical.
Oh, that's intense, that story, though. But it's true, and you can sort of see it if once you discover that someone is avoidant. I guarantee you, if you considered it for a moment, looked into them, you'd maybe like, oh, that's possible for them. Like seeming fine on the surface, but then completely losing it and doing something no one expected them to do. That's, it's possible.
And that guy had been planning the attack for years beforehand. He took years to build this little makeshift hut in the woods, and he knew it was coming. He documented all of this on video. So this is what I'm talking.
Why do you think he would want to be in a makeshift hut and
to live out a particular fantasy, maybe like a teenage fantasy of surviving in the woods, etc. Except he had just no regard for his family.
Oh.
And they thought highly of him. They thought, oh, he's a loving dad. He goes out to work, etc.
Oh my God.
Shot them both, lit the house on fire, and then off he goes into the woods.
And never expressed any remorse?
No.
Oh my God. Okay.
He knew it was coming. He planned the whole thing.
Yeah.
He knew it had to be done. There was no sense of feeling bad for him. Just something had to be done.
Had to be done. Okay.
Right.
So sign number 2, it's time to give up on your avoidant man, is that he has shown cruelty on more than one occasion, or at least one occasion. Cruelty.
Yeah, not just cruelty to animals, but also just not what we would normally call cruelty, whereas, you kick a cat, you kick a dog, that's obviously physical cruelty.
Yeah.
But emotional cruelty.
Yeah.
And what is that exactly? I guess it's a sense of trying to make you suffer, make you feel pain.
Because remember, avoidants are always trying to avoid going to anxiousness. They don't want to feel that anxiety. And if they perceive anyone or any source is trying to draw too much resources from them, or they are triggered too much, they will immediately make that person wrong and try to make that person suffer. So avoidance can be very critical. They may be critical to the extent that it's cruel. They may make you feel horrid feelings about yourself for no reason at all, like accusations and put-downs that are uncalled for. you know, things like that. I mean, I've been with him 20 years. There's never been a single put down, never, not once. Before I met him, I would have thought it would be normal to put someone down. You know, can you believe that? That's the toxic normalcy I lived in. And yeah, it's crazy. So cruelty obviously could be cruelty to animals, cruelty to children. Yeah, it's trying to make you suffer emotionally.
I guess that kind of goes hand in hand with a lack of warmth, because when you lack that sense of warmth, you don't truly care about the relationships around you. So the things that you throw around, you don't care if it hurts someone badly, because you never cared about those relationships. If you had just a subconscious care for the people around you, or even strangers on the streets, you would never want to just cause them pain for no reason.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You would not disregard that.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone who's connected to on a human level, or who's experienced secure attachment to some extent, even anxiously attached people will have that sense of care. Like, don't go out and hurt someone. Don't cause them pain for no reason.
So yeah, cruelty doesn't always have to be physical cruelty. It doesn't have to hit you over the head with a bat. It could be emotional cruelty and having no regard for how you feel.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's point number 2, that you gotta get out of there.
Exactly. Okay, so number 3 is that he has no capacity to add value to you. And now this is an interesting one, because you were talking about avoidant men giving flowers and chocolates and stuff. That may be a form of value on the surface.
But it's also, I think it's masking.
It's masking.
To distract you so that you don't follow the real scent of who they are deep down inside.
Yeah.
So you've got to watch out for these distractions, or these misdirections, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good word for this. Because truly avoidantly attached people will do this.
Yeah.
And they'll gaslight you as well, because if you're on their tail, they'll gaslight you because they don't want to be exposed. They never want to be exposed.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, when you're so avoidant, you're in this bubble and you kind of feel this fake sense of security, which is kind of real to them. But the moment you reveal them, they suddenly slide back to anxiousness, and it's massive anxiousness.
Yeah, and that's why you get that,
They don't want that at all.
They push you away, or they make you wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll do anything to avoid it. They'll hit you over the head with a bat, maybe, if they could.
Let's hope not.
Or emotionally.
Yeah, emotionally. Yeah, metaphorically hit you over the head with a bat.
Yeah, so you've got to be careful of these misdirections.
Yeah.
Them masking their true selves.
Yeah.
And the way you figure that out is, you got to really feel into yourself. Are they offering you any value, true value, versus is it just a fantasy that you're playing up in your head of who they should be?
Yeah.
Are they really offering you value? Are they truly connected to you? And at the end of the day, we're talking about a relationship here. A relationship, the value in that relationship is how you relate.
Exactly.
Okay? It's not the fact that they can bring you chocolates, give you an extra $20 so that you can pay for this, get a gift here and there. That's not the real value here. The real value in a relationship is how you relate.
Yeah.
So you really have to let go of all the facade, all the surface BS that may impress your friends, and actually just focus on you and how you relate. And when you can do that, then you'll see where the real value is.
And I guess one way to tell whether he's actually able to add value to you is whether he's able to meet you where you are at emotionally. Can he feel what you feel? If he's capable of feeling what you feel, or if he's willing to feel what you feel, then that's a sign that he cares about you as a soul.
That's where the real value is.
Yeah.
And if it's not there, if that part isn't there, maybe just tomorrow he may wake up and go, okay, now it's time to enact my plan. Pow, burn the house down and goes out to live in the woods. You just don't know.
Yeah.
You don't have that sense of certainty because you haven't really connected and related on that level.
Yeah.
You just looked at the surface little things and go, oh, he's been so kind to me, so nice. But no, the real value here is how you relate.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys, if you want to learn more about attachment styles, go to reneeslinks.com, and I'm sure we'll put up a video here if you want to learn how to cultivate a deeper sense of secure attachment within yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.